This is 5 beginner mistakes when getting your first software developer job. My name is Haris and I'm from Sigma School.
And my name is Derek from Sigma School. In this video today, we're going to cover the top 5 mistakes beginners often make while trying to land their dream job in tech, and more importantly, how to avoid them. So let's get started with the first mistake. So mistake number one, I would say it's not working with the right partners, being HR companies or tech recruiters. What do you think, Haris?
Yeah, so I don't really have much experience with working with HR companies and tech recruiters, but I would say that I have also talked to tech recruiters and I believe that
Yeah.
it is actually leveraging their network of companies and people
Mm.
that they are hiring for. Because I guess as a beginner, you don't know anyone or you don't know any company that's willing to hire maybe a junior position. But I think for a tech recruiter or even a HR company, they probably have a lot of companies, a lot of people that's looking for tech talent, and maybe especially in the junior level position. Yeah. What do you
Right.
think, Derek?
In my view, it fundamentally boils down to two different points, right? When it comes to working with tech recruiters, it's this: how can you speed up your kind of connections, right? It's either you could go one by one company, applying one by one, just go to many different companies, just applying one by one, or you could network with one person and getting them to open doors for you, right? These recruiters are linked to thousands of jobs out there, thousands of companies, right? Why not just link up with one recruiter and also getting access to those 1,000 companies? That's number one. Number two, you got to know who is on your side, right? And when you look at the way tech recruiters are getting paid, they often get paid very good commissions only when they match you a job, which also means that they have all the incentive to help you get your job. And as an entry level person, most of the time, you don't know what's needed in the industry, right? Because tech is evolving so quickly, you don't know what's needed. So these guys will help you close that gap in terms of what you need to know, and they will tell you exactly what their hiring partners are looking for, so you can have a very focused kind of direction in terms of what to learn and what to be good at when applying for these jobs.
Exactly. So another thing to also take note is that tech recruiters or even HR companies know what to look out in terms of what to look out for your resume and
Yep.
also maybe your cover letter. So right now you might be looking for jobs and you don't know whether your resume is the best. Actually, you can go to a tech recruiter or HR company and they probably have an idea of what makes a good resume because they have seen so many resumes, right? So many cover letters that they know what will actually stand out, right? And then most of the time, once where I was talking to a tech recruiter, this was one thing I didn't expect this person to say. Inside your resume, actually put in your expected salary. And he's like, yes, it's a very important thing because people can gauge whether it is a competitive salary according to the skills that you put inside your resume. You don't
Right.
want to hire someone who's such a junior position for what, $10,000 per month, right? So
Yeah.
might as well have your salary upfront so that at
Yeah.
least you have an idea.
The
And
benefit is it saves your time, right? You don't need to go through
exactly.
the entire process and you just realize,
Yep.
oh, okay, I can't meet this salary range. And then maybe it's good to put that up front. The recruiter friends can also tell you that, okay, to achieve this level of salary, here's what you need to do.
Yep.
And it gives you a more clear path, because and you know that they are here to help you as well, because they only get paid
You are
when they
paid.
match you to a job. So
Exactly.
that's why you need to link up with as many as possible. Don't need to be unique to one guy. Talk to 10 recruiters. Why not? It's like getting them to do the application for you. Obviously, you yourself need to be good, and we're going to go on to that in the next point. But before that, before going to the next point, I just want to add on to this, Harris, right? On top of, when I said just now, mistake number one is not working with external parties. And when I say external parties, just now I mentioned HR companies and tech recruiters. There's one more party as well, right? You need to be networking. You need to be working with people who are in the industry. Reach out to alumni,
Mm.
industry context, right? As much as we want to believe and we want to go for transparency, fairness in the hiring and all that kind of thing, humans are still humans at the end of the day. It's the same in the finance industry, it's the same in the VC industry, it's the same thing, right? If you want to pitch for a company, usually if you do a cold reach out, the success rates are going to be very low because you're just another guy, right? And they're getting thousands of applicants every single month, right? But if someone who is already working in the company, someone they know vets for you, that kind of just speeds up your whole process and gets you into the door, right? So I understand not everyone has a lot of top tier connections, but there are a lot of networking events and opportunities. And in fact, that's how I got into tech as well, through networking with people and understanding how great the industry is. Go for these events, train your soft skills, and maybe make some connections to speed up your job search.
Yeah, yeah. But before we move on to the next mistake, how do I then get tech recruiters or even go to HR companies? Derek, maybe you have an idea.
I think they're everywhere, man. LinkedIn is fine. Just online as well is fine. Just search, right? Recruiters, tech recruiters near me. You're gonna see all these top companies and just message them. And in fact, let me tell you something. As much as you think, and in this, our pitch here makes it sound like they're very, very high in demand, right? You are more higher in demand. They are reaching out to you. So you just gotta put yourself out there, right? Brand yourself on the internet, put yourself active on LinkedIn, right? Apply on their website. Just fill up a form, they'll call you. They're very desperate for your lead and they want to work with you. Trust me.
Exactly. So tech talent itself is still in high demand, and don't
Correct.
worry if you can't find a job, because in the end, it is a very tiring process to get a job, to go through so many applications. Why not somebody do the work for you? And it's
Right.
free. So with that said, let's move on to mistake number 2, which is not showcasing projects and skills. So maybe Derek, I think you have interviewed so many developers, or you're trying to hire developers, right? Is this true? Is this something that people actually don't do, like showcasing their projects? Because I think that's the first thing that you should actually like
Yeah,
showcase
yeah.
them.
I think it's less common than you think, right? I also at the start, I'm like, okay, step one is do a lot of challenges and build a lot of projects, but it's less common than you think. A lot of people actually skip this step and they think that their uni degree is going to get them that job. But
Right.
one thing I want to let you guys just try and imagine this: you are a manager, tech manager in a company, right? You are getting paid a good salary. You're working with very great developers in your company, and right now you're getting thousands of applicants every single month, right? So how do you want to stand out in this pool of other applicants? The only way to stand out is how, and by the way, this guy, this manager guy, we have to imagine how he is like very busy working with stakeholders, managing a team of developers. He has no time to sift through your CVs one by one. He's probably going to give you like what, 30 seconds max per CV. How can I stand out to this guy within 30 seconds? And most of the time to stand out in 30 seconds, it's by showing something. I think more helpful and more impactful would be to just deploy your project live so that this guy can just click on it and he can see whatever you've built.
Exactly. So more importantly, I think we want to see something that is working, that we can actually click on. Yes, but GitHub itself is something that we also need to look through, which then takes more time. So projects is like a good way for you to just showcase what you actually built. And at the same time, you can also showcase what are the tech skills or stack that you actually have used in your project.
You need to be selling yourself. And if you look at the top of the funnel, that's at the very top, right? When they first see you, you need to attract them within 30 seconds. It's like copywriting, correct? Get their attention within 30 seconds. And only after you get their attention, then yes, complement your projects with a very good write-up in terms of what's your thought process when it comes to designing your code, architecting your code. Why do you choose this tech stack? Right? Show them that you have a clear thought process instead of just being a code monkey and just coding away. And that is what's going to land you that interview.
Just put like your best work. Make the first impression counts
Correct.
as much as possible. Other than your name, just put the project that really stands out.
If that's all you have, then put that in. If you're desperate for a job, just put that in. But I would argue that, hey, why not spend one more month, build something really good, and then pitch that one thing?
What is that project that someone should build?
In my opinion, there's a few things, right? I want to see your algorithm skills. Are you able to build functions and leverage different tools? So if you're, let's say, a front-end developer, are you able to not really build your own backend, but use cloud development tools? Firebase, whatever, AWS, GCP, use these tools to showcase that, okay, you know what, even though you are a front-end developer, you're able to find the right tools for the right jobs. Because if you look at the way software development teams are growing today, most things require you to learn on the job. Most things require you to just learn on the fly, right? So if you're not going in as a Vue.js developer or React.js developer, you're going in as a software engineer, and software engineers need to be able to find the right tools to solve the problems at hand.
Exactly. It depends on the job role that you are applying for as well. But at the same time, just be open to learning other things other than what you are already good at. Because generally, tech will always move somewhere new.
Correct.
Right now, it's GPT. So if you don't have an idea about how GPT works, even GPT itself, it's like AI machine learning, but people don't really care about that. People care about how do I implement that into an application. And if you're able to showcase, that's already very impressive as well.
Correct. That's correct. And if I can just click on whatever link you deployed it on and just see it working, you got me.
Because right now, people are looking for how they can implement AI GPT to whatever products they have.
And it also means you learn fast because GPT is fairly new. And the fact that you explore means that you're an innovative developer. You explore new tools. And that's something that, most tech leads.
Let's move on to mistake number 3, which is lack of preparation in the technical interview. Okay, I'm surprised why this is something that people will do the mistake in, because I believe you're in a developer role, right? So you technically need to prepare yourself for a technical interview. Like Derek, in your experience, have you like found this kind of mistake?
Here comes the real deal. All right, got me interested. I think most technical managers who knows how to sniff through bullshit, they'll be starting to ask you to explain through your code.
Yeah.
Just run through, hey, how do you build this feature? Are you able to add a new feature? It's a very simple thing. And most of the time, if they can't even explain their code, something is wrong there. Even if you were to, so most of the time, these guys, they want to cut short the whole process. They
Right.
can take an open source project and just call it their own, something like that. And I would say that even if you were to do that, at least know what you're doing. At least understand what code you're copying. Because if you copy the code and you can't explain it, it just means that you stole it.
So what if I chat GPT the code to create a GPT project?
Back to my point, right? As long as you understand what's going on,
Yeah.
you're able to explain it like it's yours.
So basically have an understanding of projects and you're able to explain the code, even though the code is not 100% you, whether it's ChatGPT, whether you copying.
I think preferably you wrote everything from scratch yourself, preferably because you can say that you own it. But I think if you really want to do things like ChatGPT or using open source tools and just continuing building on it, I think that's fine as well. But for me personally, my baseline is as a developer, you need to know what you're doing.
All right, great. So I think you talk a little bit about online interview etiquette, which is mistake number 4. So I never interviewed people online before, but I had been interviewed and I've heard that people actually don't want to show their face during an online interview. So for me, I feel that's very weird and also rude. Isn't it a bit weird or rude to someone who's like interviewing you, right? You just like, okay, it's like, hi, my name is Haris, but it's a blank screen. So like your first impression for the interview will probably be a bad one, right?
Correct.
And then the interviewer have to ask, can you switch on your camera? It doesn't feel good for the interviewer to say that because it's, oh, I have to prompt you to do this kind of thing.
Are you even interested to be here in the first place? It's a two-way conversation right now. So if we want to have a proper conversation, right, the fact that I don't make you come all over to the office and I'm okay if you're doing online, just try your best to simulate physical as much as, give me as much information I can to work with. Just think about it. I like to use this analogy, Haris, of how the marketplace decides most things, right? If there are two versions of you today interviewing, 3 states are, number 1 will be don't on video. Number 2, on video, but look like you just woke up, didn't clean up how you look, or wear pajamas. Another version of you will be woke up, come on time, dress up very well, clean very well, can talk very well. Who do you think will win? All things being equal, obviously the one who dresses well. You want to be, as an applicant, you want to be optimizing on every single variable that you can be good at. On your cameras and look prepared.
And also, if you really want to make a first good impression, wear a nice shirt.
Right.
Be super impressive. It's,
exactly.
oh wow, this person is freaking serious of his
it
job.
may seem superficial, like why are these two guys asking me to dress? I'm just here to code. It may seem superficial to you, but it's just a level of respect that you're showing.
Exactly. Or more than that, make yourself feel good, right? If you are serious about something, you should look that you're serious about something. And lastly, I think the last part, I think it's pretty also important in order for us to see whether you're serious about the company, which is mistake number 5, not tailoring your application to the company. So maybe Derek can share with us good application versus a not so good application.
Based on my experience, a good application is one where the individual doesn't just talk about themselves, right? Talking about yourself is good. Don't get me wrong, it's really good. You got to sell yourself well. Most of the time, just by looking at your LinkedIn and whatever you've done on the online, your online presence tells me who you are. But if you're able to connect with the vision of the company, right? You're able to tell the company about how much this means to you as a person and how much you want to make impact to the company and why. I think that would be really nice. Like I would be just going in there and not showing personality. So it depends on the company. Some companies don't really care as much, but for most of the companies that I'm involved in, because we're a startup, so we only emphasize on people who are driven, people who want more for themselves. So I guess in that application, you need to do whatever it takes to show that you want more for yourself. You're driven. You're not just here for a chill job or whatever. You're driven. You want to do more. And how you can show that, there's a lot of ways you can do it. But I think just by tailoring your application, I wouldn't say it's a must, but I would say it's like an extra brownie point that makes me feel like, not bad, this guy actually put in the time to research a lot of things about us. It just makes people feel better. And when people feel better about you, their points go up.
Exactly. So I think it's also worth the brownie points, to be honest, because I feel that you give a sense of that you care. You care
Yeah.
about the company that you want to
That.
for. And even if the company are not hiring, they might be asking other companies or other people.
I've gotten quite a few applicants in the past, right? Where honestly, their step 1 to step 3, the presenting themselves is not good. Yeah, the projects maybe not so good. Their LinkedIn is like empty and all that kind of things. But on their application, right, it impressed me so much that I didn't reject them, obviously, but I still had to schedule a call with them to at least hear them out, to talk to them. And most of the time, they're very semangat about certain things about your company. And I've been very involved in the edutech space. So I get a lot of like education enthusiast people coming to me all the time. I'm someone who hires for the passion. I hire for the heart. I don't hire for specific skills because I believe most skills can be learned on the job if the person has the heart. But to find someone with the heart, it's hard.
That's true. Yeah, because I mean, it's a general thing that people want to get a job because they want to get money, salary. That's fine. That's the whole purpose of a job, to get a heart, to for someone to care about your company. I think that's also very rare, because that I think will be such a good motivation for the company to have someone believe in whatever you're building, right? Yeah, it might not be the most important, maybe for Google, right? So many applications, it doesn't really matter. But for small companies, right, if you were to just put in the effort to really know about their vision, their founder's story, that kind of thing, it actually helps.
It helps a lot, let me tell you that, especially in a small company, right? It helps. Like, same thing, I'm going to go back to my same point. The marketplace decides, right? If everything is, hold every variable constant, the only difference, every variable constant meaning that you look the same, you did the same application, you had the same projects, everything about you and this alternate version of you is exactly the same, but one of you just spend another 1 minute writing something that is more unique. And of course, you have to actually mean it, right? Actually mean something that you enjoy and you like about the company that you're applying for. It will put you up by a lot, because now they can connect with you as an individual. You're not just another face on the screen.
Exactly. For example, is hiring people who really believes in you is like hiring a marathoner. There are people who will be in the long run rather than people who just like, okay, I'm here for a salary. Oh, there's another company that offers me a better salary. Bye-bye. Nothing wrong, but it's just that it's a different game that they're playing. The why versus the what, right?
That's correct.
Let's recap of what we have gone through so far. So I guess for mistake number 1, I think a lot of people overlook this, which is not working with HR companies and tech recruiters. Then number 2 is to not showcasing your projects and skills. Make sure your projects has a link on it that is working. And then mistake number 3, lack of preparation for technical interviews, meaning that you're able to explain your projects no matter how you do it, whether it's through ChatGPT or whether you copy someone else's code. If you understand, that means you know your shit. Then number 4 is online interview etiquette. When you are being interviewed, please switch on your camera and also make sure that you look your best self. And that helps a lot. And lastly, mistake number 4, not tailoring your application to the company. So having, especially small companies, if you were to research about the company Sigma School is hiring, then at the same time, it helps boost and helps us see that you actually are a person who cares about the company. And that actually helps us to see whether you're a good fit with the company or not.
Thank you, Haris. I think that was a very good summary, and I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you. So, yeah, for those of you watching, don't forget to share and subscribe for more insightful content in the world of software development. So, I'm wishing you the best of luck. And if you have any comments or any feedback, or any topic that you want us to cover in the future, do drop it in the comments below. Thank you. See you guys.
Bye bye.